What's up? I'm back. About to get right into it, man. I was just watching. Y'all know I always watch videos, and then it sparked my mind to come here and when I say videos, I always say I sound so old sometimes when I talk. 'Cause I just reference everything into one. Like it's just funny. But I was watching Netflix basically. I was on my Fire Stick, and I was watching Community, and it was just a scene with Childish Gambino and one of the other characters, and him talking about where they get taking off the jacket or keeping the jacket on, and it was because he kept wearing his varsity Letterman, and everybody basically was playing him for it. But he was like, if I take it off, they gonna feel like they won. But then if I keep it on, well, he wasn't necessarily thinking about when to keep it on, and then the dude was like, well, if you keep it on or take it off, you're still doing it for them, because if you keep it on, you're doing it to, make it seem like they're not getting to you, versus you taking it off, making it feel like they won. But at the end of the day, you just gotta do what you want to do and not worry about what everybody else thinking. And I mean, that little reference was a little quick little nod to what we should be doing in our life, bro. Like, a lot of things we gotta realize we can't just please people, even though we might want to, or they for different reasons they might be important to us, or we might think they're important to us, or we might just like them a lot or whatever, due to whatever reason is. But at the end of the day, we try to please people more than we please ourselves, and a practice of that goes on too long, bro, where you start to lose yourself and always trying to change and flip. And I talk about this my last video, and doing it for yourself and maintaining, when it comes to different spaces. But that's understanding you being adaptable. But this is just doing it because you're almost a slave to these people that you care about and trying to please, and that's detrimental in a sense when you pulling yourself out of it and not really, when they're in control technically, because whenever they switch or whenever they and but whatever. Just understanding that, bro, and just keeping your power into yourself, man. Just understanding, like, it's hard to please people. So whatever you're doing, bro, if people rock with it, that's a constant tweet on Twitter or Facebook or whatever you just see. If they can't rock with it, oh well, then I'm moving how I'm moving. If I change and y'all think I'm different, if y'all don't like it, then move on. And that's a real understanding way to move, because, bro, it's at the end of the day, like I said, you can't please everybody. And there are people in your life that you might need to please doing to, like it might be a boss or somebody like I talked about before, and then that's a different scenario. But even then, that only goes to so far of a understanding, like you're acting like you're doing everything you need to be doing, but at the end of the day, you're still scheming and manipulating for your own ways and plans. But it's when you become this mastermind and understanding how the world works and understanding how spaces work. Joe Rogan was talking about this too, and Duck and Trussell. I think the video just came out when they wearing the glasses, and that Joe Rogan got like the astronaut little orange suit on, and then I think Duncan Trussell got on like the little caveman look, got on whatever. But they had a real interesting topic talking about how everything is just understanding people's spaces, and really understanding when people come into us and when we talk and this exchange of information, what's really going on, and it just shows how it's all a manipulation of space and shit like that. But I'm not the only one talking about it. There's many other people talking about it, and it's just they had a good way of looking at it too. Basically the same shit I'm saying, how everybody have their own space, and we basically don't understand that because we just think it's just one world that we in, one reality, but there could be multiple different realities. And that's what they were saying. It was like, how don't we know that we're simultaneously switching through realities where you make a certain decision, now you're changing into this reality, and not so much you staying in one world, but you might not realize it because it's just a minor tweak or a subtle tweak of your world, because it's not going to be a dramatic, well, it could be dramatic changes, but usually it's a dynamic change through your mind where you keep thinking, and every time you think in a sense, you go to another frequency or world. That's what they say in spirituality, how you transfer frequencies and you start to see different shit in the world that you're in because of yourself and your lenses that you upgraded in a sense. So it's kind of the same thing in that sense where, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same sense like that. Like when you're a kid, you might be in the same space, the same house, reading the same books and shit, but once you go back and get older, you can go back to those same spaces and you be like, damn, you realize so much more. So it's just the understanding of, even when you're in the same space, or even when you're in the same, I don't know how to explain it, even when you go back to a certain time or a certain experience, like when you have a different, when you have more perspectives, like when you grow and shit, it's just, you won't ever really view it the same way as you used to. And that just go to show how you're really technically on a different frequency. like, or always kind of changing frequencies. Like some people, like me and my girlfriend was talking about, it's more of a spiral on how you change your frequency. That's why I say it's kind of a roundabout way. It's not something that's just from point A to point B where it's just a dramatic change. Where I say it's kind of a gradual change. You can see people that can make those leaps, especially when you really when you're really going hard. Like, there's many different visuals I get when I say that, because like I tell her, I say this on here too, when you go around the curve, you come out stronger. And for instance, when some curves you might come out super strong when you go up 2 or 3 or notches versus when you just kind of maintaining that same pace. But one time or one rotation you picked up a little speed and it made you go up a little faster than normal. But that's just how a little visual I got. But yeah, basically just understanding how that's kind of how we moving through our lives, through spaces and shit. Like, it's just a constant, gradual growing and changing. And like I said, bro, like, it's just funny, bro, how you just notice when you get older, when you get different lenses, like, everything is just different from how you view them. Even if from the first time you read the Bible to when you're older, you're 30, 40 years later, and when you read the Bible, it's like, nigga, it's the same book, but how come I get different shit out of this book? Like, that's a part of us understanding how we move into different frequencies, even though this reality kind of stays the same. Isn't that weird, bro? Like, shit stays the same, but how we look at the shit is ever changing, ever growing. So it really shows how, I mean, yeah, it really shows how we're the fucking seasons and not this reality, because I don't know. Let me slow down, man. But I was thinking of, in the sense of course, this reality goes through our seasons, but how we view the seasons is ultimately more important than what the seasons are, in a sense. Because I'm getting just extra, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But it's funny, bro. Just understanding, like I said, shit can be the same for a long period of time, but we keep ever changing and shit. So it's like, what is our goal in understanding, and what's the real changing that we really need in the sense of frequencies and stuff. But that's definitely, I went from motherfucking a reference and understanding that people, that's my problem. Like, I just get the going on a fucking rant, but on one fucking point. But I was basically just saying, understanding how people, you can't please everybody, and how yourself is the only way you really can go about change and really go about finding happiness or go about doing whatever you want to do in life, bro. You have to please yourself first, and hope that, not even hope, bro, and just be confident that whatever you change into, bro, you're going to attract the right people in your life, bro. So don't be so scared about holding on to people that's, in your life that's not really trying to show interest in staying in it, or not give you the same vibes that they used to have. If they stay or they don't be so stressed on it, because no matter what frequency you go on, bro, you're going to find people that's happy with you, or you're going to find people that's opposed to you. So it's at the end of the day, whatever level you're on, bro, just understand. Don't hold on to that shit that you don't hold on to shit that's no longer really serving purpose, or is holding you back in a sense of stressing you out and making you think about other shit that's not really positive to the goal or whatever, or just distracting you from the goal. Not even necessarily not positive, but some shit just is a distraction. Knock you off your confidence or knock you off your focus, bro. And that's, like I said, you gotta please yourself first, bro. Because if you're not happy, bro, people not gonna really even want to be around you, no matter what frequency or energy. I shouldn't even say happy, but if you're not powerful in whatever frequency that you're, whatever frequency or foundation that you have, like, bro, people don't even necessarily want to be around you. They like to be around people that's confident, sure of themselves, and powerful. So it don't matter what you're doing. It's not this egotistical thing. It's just understanding in yourself and knowing that you got it. You're gonna come out of this shit. People like to be around that. So, like I said, when you start to worry and stress out, I think it's something in the 48 Laws of Power that says something about this, but it's not really connecting, but it was just when you constantly worrying about how other people think of you, you start to show that in your own aura and how you move. You start to be hesitant in your moves and shit, and that shows a lack of confidence and shows a lack of power. And people start to see that lack of power, and either they start to manipulate it or leave because they're just not attracted to you anymore, because you're not that same source of power. Like, you just don't have that same energy, and you're not giving that same effect or whatever that they was looking for. So at the end of the day, when it comes to whatever you are, bro, people gonna accept you when you believe in yourself. When you can accept yourself at all frequencies and all changes and whatever, bro, you're gonna find people that can help you. Period. And you can look at it. I'm going on a rant still, like, but you can look at it when you're at your worst, bro. But you're trying. Like, people gonna fuck with you. People gonna look out for you. Versus when you're at your down bad and you just feel bad for yourself. That's how it's the difference between being nobody want to help you because it's like you crying wolf versus like, fuck, I just gotta I'm in a series of bad luck, but motherfucker, you can see I'm trying. And that's the difference in where it's that even when you feel like that's not really, you don't really have confidence because you're down bad, but the fact that you keep constantly trying, people see that and they're willing to help you. Versus when, like I said, the other version of that is just they just down in their bed complaining and crying. Like, it's still power in trying even though you keep failing. And that's where we're so fucking magical and whatever. But that's just kind of understanding, bro. No matter what frequency you in, long as you're fucking being the most, just doing the best that you can, trying your best is the best thing I can say. Long as you're going the hardest you can, or the most tactical you can, even if you make mistakes in that logic or that tacticalities that you had or whatever. I don't know if that's the right word, but nigga, you was trying. Because it's at the end of the day, I was watching Gaia Earth. I haven't seen some of his videos in a long time, but he was talking about how star seeds things is there's 1,000,000 to 1 star seeds, like, it's against us. Like, every star seed, there's 1,000,000 other people against us, because that's just how that's just how not dwindle, but that's just how low our numbers are compared to the masses. And when you understand that, bro, a lot of things you do, they might be actually not perfect, but they might be having a lot of logic, or they might have a lot of financial sense. So they might make a lot of sense to do, but since it's so much odds stacked against you, it just don't work out. And that happens, bro. Like, for instance, when they talk about basketball and football, I like to use sports for examples. When they talk about our odds or against us, it's not that these players are not good. It's just that the odds are stacked against you. It's so many things that got to go right for you versus it's so many things that's inevitably going to go wrong from you, from the sense that there's going to be so many other people. Just when the same time you're working out, somebody else is working out. The same, when you know somebody else know 10 times more people. It's just the understanding that it's not necessarily you all the time, but it's just the fact that, well, let me just slow down. It's not necessarily you all the time, because like I said, the odds are stacked against you. But if you constantly have that power and will to keep digging into that, you know, when they show that visual, when when the dude is mining and all the other miners turn back, and they're like the gold mine is right there, versus that other dude just keep digging and he eventually gets to it, versus when all the other ones turn back and they was just right there. That's the difference. Like, eventually you're gonna knock on that door and it's gonna fucking open. Like, eventually you're gonna bang or kick hard enough and it's going to open. But a lot of people give up. A lot of people stop trying to pull, what is that, what's the sword out of the rock, fucking Alexander the Great song, whatever the fuck. A lot of people give up on that shit, but it's like, bro, you gotta keep finding the will, the strength, the power, and that goes into, like I said, Goku and all them niggas keep leveling up, because they always keep going deeper and finding even more strength than they initially knew that they had. They just keep going deeper. But like I said, whatever frequency you're on, bro, just be as, not necessarily confident, but just be assured of yourself. Believe that you can get through it. No matter if you can't see the path to do it, because a lot of times when we get into the depressed states, our vision of the future and our future of our past, like, it kind of gets, that's why I was like so depressed in myself, because I didn't see a future. Like, of course I believed in myself, but I didn't see anything. So it was like, what am I doing? Like, I started just losing myself. That's like when I was talking about being a TSU and stuff like that. And eventually I start to be able to see, the more I start to gain knowledge and more wisdom again, I start to see my future and I start to see things greater and clearer again. Still trying to get a better picture. Still trying to get a clearer picture. But like I was saying, it get kind of hard at those times when you can't see it. But even when you can't see shit, bro, you still have to believe in yourself, bro, period. Cause it's like the belief, for example, the fact that you can't see, but you can always hold on to that belief that you remember you used to can see. Like, you used to remember what you seen for yourself. You used to remember how big and how grand you had plans for yourself. And of course, a lot of shit happened to you and you start losing that view and that sight of yourself, but you still can remember that I used to have those thoughts of myself. So those are the things that you can still hold on to, in a sense. Like, a lot of times we just lose sight of one thing and we start to lose sight of everything we've done and accomplished, and just start to only think about that negative situation that we in now, and think about how we can't ever get out of it because we so stuck in it now, and how hard it is and how much of a weight it is now. But if you just reach out far enough and reach out deep enough, or not even gonna say far enough, if you reach in deep enough, bro, you can fucking find that shit that's way grander than that shit you struggling on. You gonna just smiling and laughing at shit, cause you're gonna start